A single, coded transmission cracks through the static on the Imperial Japanese Navy's long-range receiver. The officer on duty freezes, the paper tape trembling in his hands as he reads the message twice to be sure. The hum of machinery fills the cramped communications room aboard the flagship Yamato, but suddenly it feels too quiet, like the ship itself is holding its breath. Above decks, the morning sun glints off the steel rails. The sea is calm, deceptively calm, as if mocking the tension building inside the heart of the combined fleet. The message is rushed, fragmented. A report from Akagi's air group. A phrase repeats, "Enemy carriers sighted. Multiple." No one screams. No one panics. This is the Imperial Navy, disciplined, meticulous, confident. But the officer's pallor tells its own story. He hands the transcript to a courier who sprints it through the corridors, boots hammering the metal floor. The ship shudders gently with engine vibrations, but the thunder of that running man echoes louder than any machinery. The door to Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto's war room slides open. Inside, the air is thick with tobacco smoke and the scent of ink drying on maps. Great sheets of plotting paper cover the central table, dotted with wooden ship markers. The room is lit by slanted rays of sunlight cutting through the hull's portholes, giving everything a stark, almost theatrical contrast. Bright whites, hard shadows, exhausted faces. Yamamoto, wearing his immaculate white uniform, looks up from a chart of the Aleutians. His expression is calm, composed, unreadable, an officer forged by decades of naval warfare and political storms. The courier bows and presents the message with both hands. The admiral reads it once. His jaw tightens almost imperceptibly. Until this moment, the operation has felt inevitable. Midway was supposed to be the trap that ended American carrier power for good. Japan's elite aviators, Japan's superior doctrine, Japan's momentum. But an enemy carrier was not supposed to be here, and certainly not multiple. Yamamoto exhales slowly, eyes drifting toward the map as if the wooden markers might rearrange themselves into something more favorable. You can almost feel the shift in the room, the officers leaning in, the tension coiling tighter with every second of silence. "They found us first," one staff officer whispers. Another shakes his head. "Impossible. Our scout planes..." But everyone knows. The words sound hollow even as they leave his mouth. Yamamoto doesn't raise his voice, yet the room seems to bend around the weight of his next sentence. "Prepare to receive further reports." Outside, the Yamato cuts through the Pacific like a steel mountain, unaware that the battle which will define the war's fate is already slipping out of Japan's grasp. Minutes crawl by, radios hiss, navigation officers shift nervously. A lieutenant stares at the clock as if willing it to slow down. Then, another message bursts through the static. This one is shorter, sharper, like a blade. "Kaga hit." A silence thicker than smoke falls over the room. Kaga, centerpiece of Carrier Division 1, pride of the fleet. Yamamoto's hand hovers above the map. Something inside him recognizes the pattern. He has studied enough chessboards and enough wars to know when the board is turning against him. He doesn't speak, not yet, because the next report is already coming. A crackle, a burst, a voice trying and failing to sound calm. "Akagi, burning." Another strike, another wound. Officers exchange looks of disbelief, then horror. The Americans were not supposed to hit this hard, this fast, and then the worst one so far. Soryu heavily damaged. 3 carriers, 3 pillars of Japan's offensive power, hit in minutes. Yamamoto closes his eyes for the briefest moment, as if tasting the gravity of the words. When he opens them again, the calm is still there, but now it feels like a mask. The admiral steps closer to the map, fingers brushing the wooden markers. Akagi, Kaga, Soryu. Ships he knows intimately, crews he's visited, aviators he's spoken with. He doesn't move them. He simply stands there, because he needs one more message. The message he knows is coming. The message that will confirm his worst fear. A radio man lifts his headset, voice shaking. "Admiral, we have another report inbound." Yamamoto turns toward him slowly. The room goes silent again. The air grows heavier. And everyone, every officer, every aide, knows that the next sentence they hear may mark the exact moment Japan's Pacific Empire begins to collapse. The transmission begins to crackle through the speakers. Inside the flagship's operations center, officers freeze as a radio man bursts in with a frantic transmission about Soryu now taking heavy fire. Maps, pencils, and status markers lie scattered across the plotting table as every face turns sharply toward the speaker, the room lit only by harsh lamps that cast long, anxious shadows. One officer's hand trembles above the map, hovering over the last surviving carrier's marker, while Yamamoto, jaw clenched, steps forward into the light. The frame captures the exact moment before the next decision that will determine the fate of his entire fleet, leaving the outcome hanging in unnerving silence.